Tonight could be the night, ladies and gentlemen, that Sportswire Radio hits the magic 1,500 subscriber mark. But before we get there, we've got plenty to talk about in the world of legit alternative wrestling. Just when you thought maybe we were going to cease and desist when it comes to LAW, not so fast, my friends. We have plenty to get you ready for, because an aftermath here from last month is going to take place on Memorial Day. They might be saying not just God bless America, but God bless 325 7th Street in the Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia. We're going to talk about a slew of your favorites. We're going to get you ready for championship matches, battle on the border, who knows, whatever else. We're also going to talk about maybe what happened where the screw job of West Virginia happened last week, WVWF in that hybrid championship tournament. We'll get into that, plus who knows whatever else, because after all, we're in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform where all music and wrestling matters. And since I see our guest is well dressed here tonight in his formal position here, not just as the GOAT of West Virginia wrestling, but of course, as an LAW council member, I must give him that introduction. And in the words of Def Leppard frontman Joe Elliott, let's get rocked, baby, and start this show off in style on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one cable sports show. A man that some would say is the greatest of all time in West Virginia wrestling history, an LAW council member, recent Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, a man whose name is simply put Michael McMoney.
This is for you, Hot Chief.
One more for the road. Make I get money. My friend, how are we doing?
All right, just want to dedicate that generous introduction you gave me to the High Chief.
Yes, please do. Yeah, some people on Sportswire this week have been, boy, you're really admonishing. It's getting longer. It's getting louder. The war chants. I think one of my guests was ready to drag out the drums and go out watch a college football game. That was memorable. I mean, Omen Black seemed to be into it, but yeah, the intros get longer. And we are here in prime time, and we're here, baby. We got a lot to talk about. It's a busy night here in the Big Apple. Knicks, Pacers, Michael McMoney on Sportswire, Mets, Dodgers. It doesn't get any better than this. Somebody wake me up, because it doesn't seem to be a dream, but alas, it is reality. And for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform you, Michael McMoney, and LAW most certainly helped build. Tell us what we can expect coming up this Monday, Memorial Day, the aftermath from last month's cease and desist show.
Well, this coming Monday, or Memorial Day, we're going to see LAW Aftermath live from 325 7th Street in Parkersburg, West Virginia. As you know, I know you know that address.
Oh, I've remembered it just like my old address, 422 78th Street, my current address, 952 Clove Road, like my old telephone number. I've got it. I'm going to die knowing that address, sir.
And in my mind, only one match will decide the fate of LAW and where we go from here. And that's, of course, the LAW Championship.
Absolutely.
Three-way dance. So El Shaddai defends against my number one contender, Hype Man Dan Lasers, and that other guy's number one contender, Matt Vengeance. Nothing against Matt Vengeance. Solid competitor, solid wrestler, but Hype Man Dan Lasers is the true number one contender in legit alternative wrestling.
I'm going to put that poster up, because that's certainly a conversation we had a few times here on the platform. Courtney was here not too long ago. Timothy Titan was here. We spoke a lot about that match. But, I mean, from your perspective, we spoke last time you were here. We talked about the future of LAW is going to look dramatically different here. And it certainly does. But now we've got two men who hold the claim of being the number one contender to that LAW championship. Two men that have drastically different positions. Two men that have had drastically different amounts of experience. But I ask you this question as a council member here in LAW. Do any of them, Hype Man Dan Lasers or Matt Vengeance, have a chance here this Monday against the one and only La El Shaddai?
Well, here's the thing. In the three-way dance, anything could happen.
Okay.
They could gang up on Shaddai early on. They could be too much for him to overcome. Hype Man Dan Lasers, of course, he is my favorite in this match for obvious reasons. I mean, hello. He's the number one contender.
You came on here with him, introduced us to the world. He came here, yes, and certainly made quite a memorable splash. He's a hype man after all, sure.
So I'm pulling for Hype Man Dan Lasers 110%. But again, this is El Shaddai. He's been on a warpath. He's the LAW champion for a reason. And Matt Vengeance is no dummy. Matt Vengeance knows what he's doing in there. So, and Matt Vengeance is crazy, if I'm being honest. I mean, Just look at him.
Absolutely. No. Listen, the new religion, no question. Absolutely. This is definitely going to be a big deal here coming up. I mean,
look at this poster. Dan Lasers, an athlete. And then you have El Shaddai, a cannibal, and Matt Vengeance, a crazy man. Like, look at this. And if Dan Lasers, Timmy T, he said it best. Dan Lasers, there's no footage. There's not really a lot of footage. It's an
interesting point we made on the show when he was here, is that sometimes in sports, when a player goes around the first time, especially in baseball, pitcher can't figure him out, hitter has the advantage. And you could say that Hype Man Dan Lasers is that hitter right now, because Matt Vengeance and La El Shaddai have been in this sport a long time. They've obviously been accomplished, but they don't know Hype Man Dan Lasers very well. Tommy Hara doesn't know Hype Man Dan Lasers very well. Pav Novak doesn't know Hype Man Dan Lasers very well. So maybe that's an advantage here for Hype Man Dan Lasers. If you were going to say of anybody here that potentially could win it, that would be his case.
Well, and this is an obvious prediction and assumption. But if Dan Lasers can survive the first pinfall, I believe he has a great chance of becoming LAW champion. If he can survive the first elimination and either Shaddai or Vengeance get eliminated first, I believe he has the best chance to become LAW champion. And
It's certain, yeah.
the reason I say that is look at his conditioning. I've been in there with him. I've wrestled Dan Lasers.
Yep.
Dan Lasers he keeps going and he doesn't get tired. And if you don't hit him with that knockout shot, you're not going to beat him.
I guess that would also be the point where, in this case, because he's not, let's say, as experienced as certainly the incumbent or Matt Vengeance, he doesn't
Right.
know basically a limitation. He doesn't know, hey, it's time to take a break. Hey, he doesn't know
No.
that there's a moment here that I have to stop. He's just going to keep going because he's got nothing to lose. He's coming here to LAW. Basically, he's been here for about as long as a New York minute. And this is his moment. You never know when you get another world title shot. And with some of those things you're talking about, maybe this helps the lack of experience that hype man Dan Lasers has and what La El Shaddai and Matt Vengeance have seen from him. Maybe those are points that he can hold his hat on to, or certainly hold his headband on for, that can walk out of 325 7th Street here in the Richardson building in Parkersburg, West Virginia, with that LAW championship for quite a memorable Memorial Day.
Yes, I agree, and I hope that that's the case. I'm not mad any way that the match goes. I mean, if El Shaddai retains, he's been a phenomenal champion. If Matt Vengeance were to become the new champion, he has 20 years plus experience. I mean, he's deserving of that. I think he can carry the company. But Hype Man Dan Lasers, in my opinion, would just be best for business. I mean, look at him. He looks like a superstar. Strap that LAW title with the purple
He's
strap
definitely
around that
one of those.
waist in
Yeah,
that
listen,
picture
I
right
agree
there.
with you on the point that, sure, he's right out of Central Casting. He looks like $1,000,000, but LAW has gone pretty far so far, and why not just stick with the incumbent? La El Shaddai he's been the man at the top, and the buck stops with him. And I mean, why not just say what's
Well,
best for business in La El Shaddai? I mean, what's your thoughts on
and
that?
and again, it's not really if Dan Lasers loses that it's the end of the world. Well, El Shaddai and Matt Vengeance could either or carry the company into the future, but it's
Yeah,
just a matter of what it looks like. And right there is a stark contrast. You have
yeah.
Hype Man Dan Lasers, El Shaddai, and Matt Vengeance. One of those three men hold the keys to the future. So what it comes down to is what the future looks like. And that's why I say this is such an important match for LAW,
It is.
because this was a match that was essentially thrown together because that other guy threw a hissy fit over the fact that, I declared the winner of the Sanctuary Battle Royal the number one contender. So he had to throw in his 2 cents, as always,
Well,
and name
he's a
his own
council
number
member
one
too. Yeah,
contender.
I understand. Listen, I understand. No question that there was things thrown out there, but at the end of the day, it's a pass point, and it's coming up here on Memorial Day. But let me ask you this question. I do want to go back to Matt Vengeance for a minute because you made an interesting point. He's had 20 plus years experience in our sport, and in a way, it's not the same situation that Godric was in, obviously, but he's a guy that you never know when your last title shot is. You never know when you get the next one. And is the one here in this matchup coming up this Monday, the one with the most to lose, one Matt Vengeance?
Yes, because Dan Lasers has a future. Matt Vengeance has already been in the game for 20 plus years. He's coming to LAW looking to show that he's not done yet.
Yep.
Whereas Dan Lasers is looking to show, hey, I'm just getting started. El Shaddai is there saying, hey, I am the now.
Yep.
Like this guy might be the past, this guy might be the present, or the future rather, but I am the now. I am the present.
You want to make quite a splash here, right? Come in, you win a battle royal, then you get a shot in the main event here for the LAW championship. You win it. I mean, that's you want to talk about being a hype man. You want to talk about really bringing something right out there and making your name heard loud and clear. You do that there, then that's quite a way to do it. But Matt Vengeance to me again is the guy that, just like when I'm going to get to Godric here in a little while, you never know when it's the last title shot, especially for a guy's career with 20 plus years. I've had this question come up all the time on Sportswire recently. Ramrock, 15 plus years. We're going to get to Godric. I mean, this has been a common theme here on Sportswire, and I just wonder if Matt Vengeance is the one with the most to lose here coming up.
Well, I mean, with all due respect, either he or Dan Lasers, if either one lose, neither one will get a title shot anytime soon. It's
Yes, but
you know
Vengeance for 20
it's
plus years.
just the way it is. Yeah, yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, yeah. So it's like for him, it's do or die. If Matt
Yes.
Vengeance doesn't get the title, does he ever get an opportunity again? Maybe, maybe not. Dan Lasers, I hate to say it, but for certain down the line, if he proves himself, he'll get another shot. For Matt
Yeah.
Vengeance with 20 plus years, maybe not. This might be his do or die. He's not in the Godric position. Like Godric is just a few years in, and we view him at the top of his game, although I don't think he is. I think
We're
Godric
gonna get to Godric. I have a
still
lot to
has
say,
another
and
level
yeah,
to go.
and Godric's here
Yeah.
this coming Tuesday. We're gonna talk, I'm sure, a lot about what happens here this Monday. And if you are here, by the way, and you haven't yet, hit the sub button for our friends in LAW. They're on Facebook, closing in on 2,000 followers, and we're gonna be talking a lot about the aftermath show here coming up this Monday from Cease and Desist. And I also have noticed that we are one subscriber away from 1,500. So if you're out there and you haven't yet hit the sub button
Do
for
it.
us, hit this. Yeah, because I'll have a 2-day weekend celebration of it. So we're getting close to that number. So I knew that
I'd
somebody out
love to
there.
be the guy. I'd love to be the guy that you hit 1,500 on.
I'm hoping that you will be, because I have a feeling you're going to be the guy, knowing how well you've done here on previous shows. So it's been a pretty big week on Sportswire. We've had some really great guests, and a lot of people have tuned in, and I have a feeling the momentum's going to continue here. But let's talk about obviously La El Shaddai for a second. I spoke a lot about certainly Matt Vengeance, 20 plus years. We've talked about Hype Man Dan Lasers. Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, he'll definitely get another title shot down the road, but he ain't going to get one anytime soon if he wins. But La El Shaddai, to me, in my 3+ months of covering LAW, it's always been about, well, who's going to take the title from him? Well, it's Godric's moment. Well, Hype Man Dan Lasers. Well, how about Matt Vengeance? But you know what? How about the run that La El Shaddai has been on? And we may have to start talking about him right now as really the guy that for the foreseeable future, he is the man. And it's maybe time to put a spotlight more on La El Shaddai, because I know Tommy Harr is here and he'd probably agree.
I mean, let's take a look at his track record so far. He started out the run on January 15th, beating Dave Jameson in the very first LAW contest, right? Mm-hmm. Then let's move on to January 29th.
Yes,
he
sir.
wins the tournament with victories over, Robert Ketchum in the finals.
Yes.
And he beat
We hope get well soon, Pride. Robert Ketchum, by the way. Get well soon.
Right. Yeah. And Pepper Pride leading up to.
Oh, I'm going to get to her. I'm going to definitely get to her. Yep.
Okay. Then after he wins the championship, he goes on and has a hard-fought contest with Mickey Knuckles as her tag partner.
Yep.
He did not take the loss in that match, by the way. She did.
We spoke about that here a few times. Yep.
Okay. Then in the same show, he beats Judo Jones in the first LAW title defense. He opened the show with Mickey and closed the show against Judo Jones. Then we come back for Uncensored. Uncensored, he didn't defend the title. He was just present to see some Godric Samwell act.
Yes. He was scouting his opponent.
Right. And then he comes back and has an incredible match with Godric Samwell that featured all those weapons and just brutality. Then he comes back and beats Godric Samwell in a straight up pro wrestling match. And now he's going into a 3-way dance with an unknown and a 20 plus year veteran. So he has been on quite the tear. And if he wins this 3-way dance, it might not end anytime soon.
I think right now he's primed and poised to be champion as long as he wants. And I understand that he's grown also in numbers here thanks to Tommy Harr. And that's, I would think, have to only strengthen his hand. What is your thoughts on that, sir?
Well, everybody saw the video that they put out where Tommy told him it was a bad idea, and they resurrected Shadow the Clown.
He spoke about that on Monday's show. What was your thoughts on that?
I've been in there with Shadow before. It ain't no picnic. That guy doesn't know. Yeah, that guy is a madman, and he doesn't care. He just doesn't care. So El Shaddai finally spoke English, and he said, "I want my shadow. Everybody has their shadow. I want my shadow."
I guess we didn't know
he spoke. That's a hell of a shadow.
Well, I mean,
I didn't either.
Well, I guess the groundhogs do come out. I mean,
And well, he made it clear to Tommy he wanted a shadow, and he got his shadow now, and that's a hell of a shadow.
Well, and I think it's just got to make things even more to the point that, listen, I mean, you mentioned what he's done here now for 4.5 months. And if this isn't going to be the day where he loses that championship, you just have to wonder, how long will he stay on top?
As long as he wants.
How do you feel about that as a council member? I mean, you've talked about other names, and it
I
seems to me
mean,
if he's the incumbent, what's best for business seems to be El Shaddai. I don't know.
As you know, and as the world knows by now, I'm the traditionalist of the
Yes,
council,
which you wouldn't before.
and
Yeah.
and you know what? If El Shaddai is the guy to hold it for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, that's great. He's proven himself. I'm not mad at that.
No.
And I've always been a guy that's what's best for business. Always.
Okay.
It just, you know, sometimes the cards don't fall how you want, but
Mm.
you take the hand that you're dealt and you move on. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think that's obviously going to be something we're all paying attention to because, again, what we know here in LAW that the very best compete here. We've seen what he's done. You rattled off the names that he's competed against here these past several months. You mentioned Pepper Pry. We're going to definitely get to Pepper Pry. We're going to definitely talk about Godric Sandwell. We're going to definitely talk about Dave Jameson. We're going to talk about a lot of these different names here, but I think it shows what he's done has been extremely impressive here. And I do want to also wish a happy birthday there to Simon. And I do have it here right there. I want to break the comments there. And
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
do want to make the announcement that somebody out there was kind enough to get us to 1,500 subscribers. So if you're here, we'll be celebrating. Yeah, that's going to be, we're very happy about that. And this weekend coming up both evenings. If anybody wants to come on and say hello and share their words of any wisdom or promotion, that includes LAW members or anybody else. I'll be here both nights, and you'll be here probably with some of the usuals here on the platform. And thank you, Judo Jones and Wyatt Black and Judo Jones say that they were the reasons. I don't know that definitively, but whoever it was, we thank you, and we look forward to celebrating that milestone here coming up both days. Very exciting, and it's been a great last few weeks on Sportzwire Radio, and we couldn't wish much to everybody here for their support and saying thank you. And all right, so we'll come back to El Shaddai. Obviously, that run has been extremely impressive. And, I do want to talk about Pepper Pride here for a few minutes. Let's talk about Pepper Pride because she's been getting a lot of buzz here, getting a lot of buzz across the wrestling world. She's been in different places. I think there's no question to me that she carries a lot of momentum. I think she was the right person at the right time to win the Indie Vision Championship. And I'm curious for you, Mr. McMoney, now your thoughts. I've asked Courtney about it. I'm going to definitely get to Courtney. Shout out to Courtney because she wrote a hell of an article on the late Daphne. I definitely want to maybe talk about that for a few minutes. But yeah, definitely want to get into that. And everybody, I'm sure, will talk about that with us. But for you and everybody else that's watching, talk to me about Pepper Pride and how proud you are that she is our first ever Indie Vision champion.
Well, first off, I want to say that there wasn't a loser coming out of that match. Like,
I agree with
what
that.
What I mean by that is the Indie Vision title would look good on any of those four individuals, and that was an excellent choice for a match to have for the first ever Indie Vision champion. Pepper Pride coming out on top to me was kind of a surprise. I mean, I hate to say that because she's such a phenomenal talent, but one would think in a match like that, Mickey Knuckles or the Soul Taker with a little more experience.
I think we spoke a lot about that. You were here,
Yeah.
and we basically were talking about the possibilities of certainly Soul Taker, no souls matter. Let me say that in slow-mo. No souls matter. And of course, Mickey Knuckles, who I know from POR and a lot of other places, they were at the top of everybody's list, and Pepper was the wild card. Then there was a guy, Daniel Tafura, who certainly made quite a case for it. But it's Pepper Pride, and I think Pepper Pride looks like $1 million with that championship.
Yes, I agree. Well deserved, well earned, and definitely that's a look into the future right there.
And I think that what she's going to do with this championship and what she's done wrestling in company after company, I also think how hard fought that this match was for her to walk away with a championship like this and the names that were in this match. You mentioned Mickey Knuckles. Mickey Knuckles is certainly right up there with some of the very best deathmatch wrestlers, period. Soul Taker, a man
the
that's
godmother
certainly
of the death match.
absolutely. Listen, I've watched her work when she wrestled Jesse Daniels. Tarzan Duran has spoke about her. Jimmy Controversy, Kato, they've all spoke about her on this platform. So Mickey Knuckles, I've pretty much gotten the front row seat the last year in the deathmatch circuit with her. Then the Soul Taker, a man that certainly speaks volumes itself. And Daniel Tafua, who's certainly come a long way.
Yeah.
He's come a long way. And I think for Pepper to win this against the caliber of opponents, I think it speaks volumes.
Well, she's one of the, as we've all agreed, she's one of the top indie talents in the country today.
Absolutely.
But I mean, like, honestly, Tafua, I really wished he'd have got it, because I think that would have did the most.
He made quite the case for it. He made quite the case for it. Yep.
But I mean, look at that picture. Just look at that.
She looks like $1 million. Listen,
yes,
to me,
that is what a professional wrestling champion is supposed to look like. Right,
and she's learning from the best. She's a protege of Rhino's. She's been in there with my old friend James Fury, who's been in MLW. She's actually been in there with a photo with the Boogeyman. Everybody knows him. I'm coming to get you. So she's been in there. I had to throw it out there. I mean, might as well. She's been in there with some of the very best wrestlers. Period. So to me, I mean, this is kind of like the icing on the cake of her run these last several months.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Here's a little story for you behind the scenes.
Okay.
So one day she sent me a message, and she said, "Hey, I want to thank you and you guys for allowing me to do the intergender thing and actually wrestle these higher caliber guys." She said, "Because I don't get to do that all the time, you know." And I told her I was against it. Whenever we first started LAW, I was one of the few votes against.
Well, you're the traditionalist. I'm not surprised.
I didn't want to do it. Right. But like I told her versus Godric Samwell in the first LAW show, I snuck a peek through the curtain and watched just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it live. It changed my perception completely. And her and Godric Samwell single-handedly made me realize I was wrong for saying no to that. And ever since then, you know, I've been a fan of hers.
Very rare for somebody like you with your experience, your knowledge in the sport, to say I was wrong. That's really almost a rare thing for somebody to say like yourself. I mean,
well, Tom, I wish some other people would learn how to do it every once in a while. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I mean, I can't speak for everybody else, but I can certainly speak for you. And it's definitely great to see the success that she's had. And I think that she's going to do great. And I continue to say that. I said this when Courtney was here, and I said this when Timothy Titan was here. I really believe she is going to be ranked in this year's women's PWI. I think she's going to be ranked, and I think she's going to be ranked very high this year because what she's done.
I sure hope so.
Well, I continue to share the clips on Instagram. They're getting like 400 or 500 plus views, so apparently somebody's watching them. So, I mean, it's like Pepper Pride is like the magic word. I just say her name on Instagram and they go viral. I mean, so I don't know what it is.
Just remember, Tom, Pitbull Gary Wolf says PWI doesn't matter.
I know. Gary was like, but yes, Rhino, it does matter. Now, she's a protege of Rhino's. Now, Rhino, to be fair, Rhino was in the top 10. Gary Wolf was only ranked 82. So, you know, certainly that's, you know, one conversation for but, you know, I'm curious just on Daniel Tafua real quick. Where do you think Daniel Tafua goes going here in LAW after, you know, fighting so hard? And what do you think the future is?
You with the hard questions, I tell you what.
You did say it was going to happen. And listen, this is the platform. Yeah. You're on a platform with 1,500 plus subscribers. And Gary Wolf was just here. What do you expect? Me to just say nothing?
on prime time under the brightest
Brightest
lights on
lights,
the
the biggest
biggest
stage.
stage,
Listen, there are
baby.
other podcasts. Listen,
Sportswire Radio.
Listen, there are other people, and God bless them. God bless everybody that does podcasts covering indie wrestling, whatever it is. And, and they have to sit there and look at their notes. They have to sit there. They're not into it. Here that people, it's like, come on, let's go. I mean, so I'm not going to just sit there and just go like this and go, what did you say on April 14th? You're not getting that here because I know, listen, my audience, forget about it. They're going to throw the hook at me. I know that. I'm not a dummy.
Well, and I know that's why you have me on because there's not many people that can keep up with the caliber of a Tom Brady.
You did that. No, you know what? And that's why we've had a great week. We've had Omen Black on his show. Timothy Titan was here. We had Jake Dvorak yesterday. We've had some really, excellent guests. And I have no doubt that you're going to talk to me about a number of things. But I do think Daniel Tafu is an interesting fellow because he made a strong case. And I don't know.
To get back to the question at hand you asked, let's not digress.
Yep.
You said, where do we go from here with Daniel Tafua? Mm-hmm. Do you know where I think? I think he goes on a journey. He gets himself some wins.
Right.
If he can. It's legit alternative wrestling. Wins are tough to come by.
Absolutely. No question.
So he needs to go out, get himself some wins, restore his confidence. I don't want to say his confidence is broken, but he needs to get to that next level of confidence. Right. And then I think it's go time. And you know what? Also, I know that he's just a phone call away because I've been having trouble with the goons from the other guy. He sends them goons after me. I don't know if you heard or not.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about that.
Yeah. I know he's just a phone call away. So, he might have to come and get rid of some goons for me. You know what I mean? But other than that, I think Tafua should just focus on the journey and get there to the championship. And he hears those whispers. And I know that if he listens to those whispers, he'll draw nearer to the championship.
I think it's a good point that you made in the sense that it's a very deep roster here in LAW. It's a roster that's very diverse. It's a roster that's well-rounded. And Tafua, who's certainly been in different places, he's been a partner of Dave Jameson's. And you are going to have to work for everything. And it's a matter of inches here in LAW. And yes. The ball bounces one way. It could bounce another way next show. So obviously we'll see what his future is here coming up. I did want to ask you also before I get into some other topics, and I want to certainly get to the chat. There's a lot of people here I see, and they're starting to come in here. I did want to ask you about something here you and I were talking about that I was kind of excited to get your perspective on. And Chase Maddox and Jeff King here coming up. You want to talk about another match? I kind of said, that's going to be a match that I think a lot of people are going to be really eagerly anticipating. And talk to me about what you can expect here for us this Monday when Chase Maddox and Jeff King score off. Not to be confused with the former Pittsburgh Pirates first baseman, Jeff King.
Well, here's the thing. And, I thought about this on the way here. And by here, I'm in Timmy Titan's personal office. Big shout out
I
to
wasn't going to say anything about that considering
big shout out to him.
Shout out to Timothy Titan, yeah.
And you know what? Here's the truth. The man is a technical genius, technologically speaking. He has the best equipment. He has he has it all. So I come over here and I thank him for actually allowing me into his office this time. But let's get on the matter at hand here. Chase Maddox and Jeff King. On the way over here, I was thinking about this match in particular. Right. And this is the fact of the matter. I don't particularly care for Chase Maddox. He's one of those. He's one of those goons that I said I might have to give Tafua a call for later down.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: he's representing legit alternative wrestling against Battle on the Border for the Battle on the Border Hardcore Championship.
Correct.
This is how I hope this goes down.
I know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
I hope Jeff King beats Chase Maddox down a la Ric Flair in 1988. And I hope he beats him and beats him and beats him And then I hope Chase Maddox pulls it out of nowhere like that
I
and brings
knew
home the
you were
gold.
going there with that. You want Chase Maddox to be beaten to a bloody pulp, but somehow on behalf of LAW, find a way to walk away with that battle on the border hardcore championship.
Look, I
Yeah.
want Jeff King to beat him down for 10 or 15 minutes, just weapon after weapon, shot after shot. And then out of nowhere, Chase Maddox rolls him up with the schoolboy 1-2-3.
Well, I mean, that kind
In
of
a
sounds like
perfect world.
well, it almost sounds like the man I'm going to talk about in a little while with you from another company. But I mean, I guess it's going to be a match regardless that a lot of people, if you're a fan of hardcore deathmatch wrestling, you're going to be really into this
Yes.
one. And these two guys, this is going to be, and I said this, I
I
think, with
mean,
Timmy, when Timmy
my
was
God, Tom Bryce, look at those two promo pictures right there.
what I was
Look at
about
them.
to say is, to me, this is going to be the definition of a slugfest. This is going to be an
Yes.
old-fashioned slugfest.
Yes. Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if both these guys wind up a bloody mess as they are in their pictures
It's going to be
there.
a slugfest. Listen, it's going to be, baseball starting and home run derby here, basically, is going to be the equivalent of that. I mean, that's going to be what we're going to expect here. But obviously, you've made your case. But what is your thoughts here, though, very quickly on this whole battle on the border versus LAW? We're going to see here coming up this Monday at Aftermath. We're going to get basically something that we've talked about here with you before. Timmy spoke a lot about it. Courtney spoke a lot about it. But, I mean, how important is this from your vantage point for LAW to represent itself as strong as it could here this Monday?
Well, I mean, Chase Maddox has an opportunity to make a statement, obviously.
Yes, sir.
He goes out, he brings him the battle on the border title. In any event, I don't think Chase Maddox looks bad if he loses. This is Jeff King. He's the top
Yep.
of the excuse my language.
I
He's the
can do
top
that
of
if you want
he's the I caught it. He's the top of the heap in Battle of the Border as far as the hardcore title goes. And the hardcore division. I understand
to.
they
Yep.
have a hardcore division.
Yep. Yes, we do.
So in my estimation, Chase Maddox has nothing to lose and everything to gain. If he loses to the best they have to offer. If he beats them, he takes their championship and brings it home. So the man doesn't look bad either way, in my opinion. It
It's a
doesn't
good
look
point.
bad for Chase Maddox.
No, I think it's definitely going to be a slugfest. There's no question that it's
Yes.
going to be a slugfest. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. It's not. We're not going to see, Fez versus Ganya. You know what I mean? This is not.
Yeah, we're not
It's
getting
not going to
Steamboat
happen.
and Flair in Chicago
No.
'89. We're not getting Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, the Iron Man match, WrestleMania 12. I got you. We're not getting.
Possibly New Jack and Angel from ECW in '99 or 2000.
Well, it's funny because Gary Wolf could tell you a lot about that, and I do know ECW original Angel Orsini may come here, and I have to go back and say what did Angel? Yeah, Angel because I have to go back and now watch Angel. I don't remember when Angel Orsini was in ECW, but yeah, that's a different
The
story.
Baldies. I believe he was in the Baldies, if I'm not mistaken.
You might be right. You might be right, but I do because
It would have been him, and it would have been Vicious Vic Grimes, and it would have been PN News, and it would have been Tony DeVito.
I don't even remember that, but that's a good point for a different time. I do because it's a super chat, and I don't ask for these, but I have it.
Do you remember when New Jack got severely hurt whenever they came out of the balcony through the tables and they wound up busting his head? That was against the Baldies. That was in the middle of his feud with them. He had it was like a year-long feud with them.
Was not Big Vito a part of that?
Yes.
That was Big Vito.
Yes. No. That wasn't Big Vito. That was Vicious Vic Grimes.
I remember Vicious Vic Grimes. I do remember Vicious
Vic
Grimes. Yes, I definitely do remember Tony DeVito. I just don't remember Angel Orsini. But because I have one of these, I don't get them often, and I don't solicit them. But your son wants to tell you stop vaping and trying to look cool. Also,
ain't nobody trying to look cool, kid. You know this is who I am.
Well, it's Friday night, and he's in prime time, and he wanted to put this out there because I usually go through the chat one by one, and he does say that he does love you at least. But we talked about vaping last time on the show. But I mean, if I don't know what to say. I don't do it, but if you're happy, I mean, more power to you.
Well, you know what? I'm nervous here under the bright lights on the biggest
No,
stage. You know what
stop.
I'm
You're not
saying?
nervous. Trust me. You're definitely not nervous, but we'll certainly see. Yeah, but I think Chase Maddox and Jeff King, the word I'm going to continue to say is slugfest. This is going to
Yes.
be the definition of a slugfest. Home run derby is going to come early. If you're here,
Hey,
by the
Tom
way,
Bryce.
yeah,
Hey,
yes, sir.
Tom Bryce.
Yeah.
What if these guys go out there and put on a clinic with headlocks and head scissors?
You know, Jesse Daniels was here on Sportswire, and Cato said the same thing. Well, you know, people think of us as just hardcore and deathmatch wrestlers, and we can wrestle. I mean, Jesse Daniels, who wrestled Mickey Knuckles, was basically, no, I can wrestle, and I want to show people that.
Yes.
Jimmy Controversy was over at the dojo with Jason Knight not too long ago. At ACW in Vinelands, New Jersey, was on Facebook the other day. He was training with Jason Knight. Of course, everybody knows him, the first ECW television champion. So, I mean, yeah, hardcore
How do
deathmatch
you
guy.
like my suit?
I think it's like you look like $1 million, but you're not going to get me.
No. That was a Jason Knight line in his early ECW days.
Yes.
He would finish all his promos with, "How do you like my suit?"
Well, then he became with the Impact Players, and he
Yes.
ditched the suits. But you look like $1 million, and you definitely are showing us that you're worthy of being here. And hit the sub button for our friends in LAW. You know, there's a lot to talk about, but I want to get to the chat because there's a lot of people that want to comment. A lot of people want to get to you. Yeah, I got to get to. I don't want to wait like the whole. We'll be 2 hours out before I get to the first comment, but let me do that here. Zilla is in the house. She is first, and
Zilla.
she hasn't been first this week, but this time she is. She wants to say hello to everybody. I bought you a few minutes and said we'll be going on soon. And yep, hello, thank you, Zilla. We're gonna get to him in a little while. I'm gonna get to him, but I'm not ready for it yet. I'm not ready for it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. But yep, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hope everybody's good. Friday night here on Sportswire in primetime, big crowd. And by the way, thank you, everybody. We just surpassed 1,500 subscribers here, which means this weekend, not 1 but 2 days, we'll be here to celebrate it. And if you want to come by, say hello, talk about whatever for a few minutes, just come by. The floor is open. Anybody, LAW, elsewhere, you're welcome to come on down and celebrate. Yes.
And I'm so honored to be
you're the
here
one.
in the chair.
You were the guy.
Whenever you
were the
hit
guy. You know
1,500.
what? I was thinking about it
See?
yesterday, but I didn't promote it. I promoted it. It was funny. I was at 1498. Then I dropped one. And then I was here yesterday. I didn't think about it. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get it today. I was thinking I was in the city all day. And I was like, I'm going to get there for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I'm going to get there. And I got
Here we are, baby.
Here
we are.
I actually got 3 of them. I'm at 1,501. So I'm sure now somebody will subscribe and the train will continue to pass. And thank you, everybody, for your support. We'll come back to that in a little while. But yes, hello to Wyatt Black. But he's not here, though, Zilla. Michael McMoney.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
He is not the hybrid champion.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know why
yeah.
Zilla. Yeah, you might want to say something else there, but I don't. No, I actually disagree with that. I don't think in the record books he was credited as a hybrid champion.
My cup of coffee didn't even get cold, Tom Bryce. My cup of coffee was still
piping
hot whenever he lost.
No. I don't think that they counted it as the hybrid champion. I'm pretty sure in the record books that they didn't count it as that. But I'll get to that. I'm not ready for it. Your son is here. How you doing?
Hi, Simon.
And I'm sure that we'll see a big part of that coming up. And happy birthday. Big Rig is here.
Rig from TWA. Big Rig is from the Big Rig is from the Top Notch Wrestling Alliance.
Yes.
Hell of a competitor. Hell of a hand. Hell of a wrestler.
I've seen Big Rig on here before on Sportswire.
Listen, yes. he is a legitimate Big Rig driver. Monday through Friday.
He's been here on
and then
Sportswire.
He wrestles on the weekends.
He was here actually. I think he was here for Dave Jamieson the first time. I think he was here also because I believe, wrestled Godric Sandwell. He wrestled Godric Sandwell.
Yes, sure. I was Godric's manager for that.
Yes, I had it here live on Sportswire. He came here for the chat, and I think we said, well, would you want to come on Sportswire sometime? And he said, yeah, but I don't have any way to get in touch with him. Oh,
man, what?
I would love to have him on.
Oh, we will make that happen because that guy has a story.
I would like to get him on here because I think he came here. I think Godric was here This had to have been maybe January or February. He'll probably have a better memory of it. But we spoke about him. Yeah, he came up, and I think he might have been here when Dave Jamieson the first time was here, which was a totally different Dave Jamieson. Yes, hello. How you doing? Judo Jones. We're going to get to Judo Jones in a little while.
Judo Jones.
A lot to talk about Judo Jones. And the aforementioned Mr. Horror himself, I think I can say it. Shaddai is not mortal, can't be beat. Pretty much what I was saying.
I mean, hard to argue. Hard to argue at this point.
I'm going to get to Godric. I'm going to get there. I want to get there with that because you certainly had a few things to say on that.
I want to point out one thing. Go back to that Tommy Horror comment, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, I can.
Do your homework as a wrestling historian and watch ECW Anarchy Rules 99. Taz is the unstoppable champion. Right. Mike Awesome, a.k.a. Matt Vengeance.
That was September 99. That's September 99? That was September 99, that was, right?
Yes. And Masato Tanaka, a.k.a. Dan Lasers, jumps Taz from the get, and Taz and Shaddai use the same finish.
And that was Taz's first loss in like a long time, right?
Yes, they jumped Taz from the get, and they both simultaneously pin him with all their weight.
Yep.
To win the match or to get him eliminated from the match.
And then they had them square off for the title.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anything can happen. Anything can happen.
All right, we'll see. But I mean, something tells me though that La El Shaddai now, because you said it, is prepared for that.
I'm wishful thinking, Tom Bryce.
You do realize that because you said that here. Live. Now, Tommy Horror is going to make sure La El Shaddai is exactly prepared for that. And funny you mentioned that. We're live. And also, it's funny you said that
I'm messed up.
First, my guest who was here in your chair a week and a half ago, Anthony Steele, he did the reverse. He actually double pinned his opponents, Dark Crown and El Drago. He stacked them both. He stacked them both. He stacked them both in a steel cage match, nonetheless, where both men were basically teaming up on him. Yeah, I mean, these things are just, you never know how they go. But
I have one piece of advice for Matt Vengeance and one piece of advice for Dan Lasers.
I want to hear this.
If Shaddai gets either one of the other ones in the Kata Hajime, save him. Save him. You want to work together to eliminate Shaddai. Don't let one go down, because if one goes down, it's 1-on-1 and you're toast.
That's a good point. You know what? That's an interesting strategy. But now again, though, La El Shaddai is going to know this because Tommy Horror is listening. Just saying, though. I mean,
but he's going to go for that choke out. He likes to choke him out.
But you still have given Mr. La El Shaddai the ability to prepare for this. Just saying. I mean, certainly.
Yeah. But when he has that hold in, he can't control if the other guy shows up or not.
That's true, too. And I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about that after Monday. Yes, hello to Judo Jones. We're going to definitely get to Judo in a little while. Hype Man Dan Lasers is the best. Well, you know what? We're going to find out if he's going to be the best on
Monday. The kid knows.
Well, we're going to find out. We have to find out. Time will certainly tell. And if you are here, follow Legit Alternative Wrestling on Facebook, closing in on 2,000 followers. YouTube, if you want to watch previous FUTV episodes, you can go to Legit Alternative. Just go out there. Please support Legit Alternative Wrestling. We are definitely here, very legit, talking with the one and only Legit Alternative Wrestling Council member. Some would say he's the greatest wrestler in West Virginia wrestling history, Mr. Michael McMoney, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that in a little while. I want to say hello to my buddy who was here in your chair not too long ago, Mr. Silas Walker, the general manager of DBW, Dominant Breakout Wrestling, and he's a busy man in his own right. He's been a champion for almost a year, and Mr. Walker, I hear, is going to be at the June 13th show that Mr. Money Mark Media Timothy Titan is hosting. So
he was on recently. Am I correct? Yeah.
He was here last Saturday, not this past Saturday, but the following. Yes.
I caught part of that show, but it was after it already aired. I wasn't live.
That's okay. I've got so many shows that you can go back. There's like a million videos.
Yes.
I mean, like me and WWE have like the most videos out there. You can go watch them all and figure it out. Who was on and what about him? He was a nice guy, but okay, we'll move on to the next comment. Thank you. Yes, hello to Silas Walker. Yes, we don't like awkward pauses. We just keep moving. Yeah, hit the sub button for LAW. Let's get him to 160 subs. Thank you, Courtney, for that. I want to talk about Courtney for a minute, but we'll get to more people in a second. But Courtney writes another article here, about Daphne and Daphne.
For SlamWrestling.net.
Slam Wrestling, which the Hart family obviously made famous for. Natalia. You talk about Bret the Hitman Hart. So, I mean, I'll put that up here in a second. But just, I mean, talk about Daphne, Courtney writing about that, and just how proud you got to be.
Okay, first
All
off,
right.
I'm extremely proud of her, and I told her that.
Good. Well, tell it
Shout
to
out to
her
the
because
clown.
she can't
Yeah,
now
yeah, yeah. That's scary, right? Here's the thing. I promised her that I would. I haven't watched the episode or read the article yet. I plan on doing that tomorrow. I actually have a block of time set aside that I'm going to do that. I want to watch the show, then read her article. So without spoiling it for me, because I'm going to handle all this tomorrow. I just
Mm.
want to say that I'm very proud of her. I love the fact that she got to write about. I know what this meant to her. For a while, she's talked about. I want to write this Daphne article. I told her I'm
Yep.
like, go after it. So I am extremely proud of her, and I'm so happy that she got to write the article. And I know what it meant to her, and I cannot wait for tomorrow afternoon whenever I have the chance to sit down and watch the show and then read the article after.
Well, I am going to put the article up because
That's fine. That's
there's a
fine.
link for it. And we're not going to, we can't really read the article on here, but yeah, let's go. We'll put the link up here. There you go. There you go. Yep. There you go. Yep. Definitely check it out. And yeah, Daphne really was ahead of her time. I'll say this much before we
The
move on.
Scream Queen.
And I think, yeah, I mean, I remember her in WCW. I remember her with
That's
Crowbar, a
right.
guy that another guy that to me was way ahead of his time and has kind of had a second wind here in his career of late. And I think Daphne, also had a run in TNA years later. She came back into the scene and was with
Yes.
Abyss and was involved with that. And really, again, what you think about what she did with the character and just really look at today's women's wrestling, really was somebody I wish that would have got more of her flowers. I know she struggled. It was well documented, her struggles a few years back. But I think in terms of what she meant to the wrestling industry, I think it's a lot of wrestlers today owe a debt of gratitude to her.
Yeah, and what's strange is I'm a big wrestling collector. I collect action figures, I collect memorabilia, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
She had an action figure in TNA with her and Stevie Richards. It was a 2-pack.
Oh wow!
I found it in
I didn't even know
it
they
in the
had
wild.
that. Okay.
Yeah. I found it in the wild randomly one day, just just by happenstance at like one of those antique stores or something like that.
Okay.
And it's crazy because she passed away just a few days later. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
wow. Yeah, it
Wow.
was so strange. Yeah. But I mean, Daphne was big in WCW. As you
Yes.
said, she was a crowbar, had a run in TNA with Stevie Richards. And I know that she was a huge influence on Courtney. And I'm just glad that Courtney got a chance to write that
Also
article
from
and
the
got a
area
chance to
here,
be the one to do it.
local. She was local. Definitely somebody that really, to me, was ahead of her time. And it's unfortunate that she didn't get the flowers while she was alive.
Right.
And but definitely Courtney did a great job, memorizing all her key facts and commemorating her career. So definitely check the article out. Yeah,
Like that.
yeah,
Right
she
off the top
knew
of her head,
things
guaranteed.
that I would definitely have not have known. And you can check it out here. That's the link. Definitely check that out. And it's going to be, I'm sure, something we'll talk about with Courtney over the weekend. I didn't even realize, they had a figure of her in TNA, but not in WCW. I would have never guessed that they had a TNA figure.
Right.
I would have
I
thought
had no idea until I
right
picked
away.
it up at that store. I was like,
Wow.
wow. I was like, this is cool.
I really would not have guessed that, considering her run to me was more memorable in WCW, but that's a different point for a different time. Let me get to some comments. There's a lot more comments here. Here we go. Yep. Courtney will definitely mention more of that, I'm sure. And yes, hope you had a great birthday and hope you enjoy many more birthdays. And Wyatt Black said he subscribed to 1500. Judo Jones says he did. Who knows, really, but it doesn't make a difference. Timothy Titan now wants his office to be added to the Hall of Fame. I don't know if I have an office to be added to the Hall of Fame, but maybe, maybe at this point it's become pretty well known. So now, your son's saying it's definitely him. Maybe. Who knows, really, at this point. And now everybody's saying it was me because Big Rig has been here before. Yeah, it's definitely not him.
That's right. Big Rig's a faithful subscriber, not this bandwagon jumper at the last minute. That's right.
That's okay.
I
I'll take
agree.
what I can get at this point. To have 1,500 plus, we can do whatever people want. Yeah, Pepper Pride is not just one of my favorite wrestlers in LAW, women's wise, but period. I mean, I think she's one of the best wrestlers, period, out there. I mean, what she's done, it speaks volumes. And I spoke about Pepper Pride, like I said before, we connected with LAW. Sam L. Jami spoke about her here. James Fury, who was in MLW as an extra, spoke about her here. She is definitely somebody that you are going to be seeing a lot more with, not just in LAW, but everywhere. That's why I think she's the perfect in-division champion here. Yes, happy birthday. Hello to Timothy Titan.
How crazy is it that in my estimation, I might be wrong here, and I might
Okay.
be putting a lot of pressure on these kids, but it is what it is. In the next 5 to 7 years, I predict we'll see Pepper Pride, Dave Jameson, possibly even Godric Samwell in a WrestleMania role of some sorts, even if it's one of the extras coming out to the ring for a grand entrance or something like
I
that.
think Pepper Pride definitely fits the WWE ID program. I think Dave Jameson, what he's going to do June 13th, is probably going to get him in that discussion.
Yes.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's a Godric Sandwell who down the road got something. I don't know what it would be, but I think you got two off the bat that could definitely be contenders for at least a WWE ID program. They've got the look. They've got the youth, they've got the ability, and I think there might even be more LAW members that could certainly be a part. I think it's, to me,
Yes,
the sky is most certainly the limit here when it comes to LAW. So I think there is a lot to look forward to. And I agree with my friend Silas Walker, who's from a great company in his own right. And LAW definitely seems like a great place to be. And you better be there coming up this Monday for our show here coming up, Aftermath, at 325 7th Street in the Richardson Building in beautiful Parkersburg, West Virginia. You better be there. Facebook for more details. He already pointed that out. We put the super chat out there. Calling Chase Maddox a goon is insane. Now, he's testing you. I'm going to get to him. He's testing you, but I'm going to get to you. I know. You say that until he shatters your already chipped teeth. How is the teeth, by the way?
They're good.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay, yeah. I already read the super chat off. We'll do it again. I want to say hello to my buddy Blaze the Bingo Hole. Blaze the Bingo Hole is an interesting one because his dad was an independent wrestler. He's now stepping into doing this. He just interviewed Just Incredible. He's interviewing my buddy Ace Christian here, the Blaze Ace Christian, who certainly Silas Walker definitely knows. He shared a locker room with him. He's definitely been a guy that's watching different wrestling companies. He's been at Amplified, Enterprise Wrestling. He's a West Virginia guy, actually. And, Blaze the Bingo Hole, if you're out there, I don't know how far you live from Parkersburg, West Virginia, but I put your YouTube link up. If you'd like to see a show from LAW, they have one here coming up this Monday. It's called Aftermath. Go to Legit Alternative Wrestling on Facebook. Check them out on YouTube. And maybe you want to see what these guys have to offer. Maybe you want to bring on some of the very best, like Dave Jameson. How about Michael McMoney? How about, I don't know, maybe even Godric Sandwell? How about Daniel Tafua? How about Mickey Knuckles? A list of great talent. How about the Pattersons? The only brother-sister combo in all of wrestling to be tag team champions. There is a long list of guests you may want to have on here. And I've put up your YouTube link, and definitely give LAW a follow. And if you'd like to see more of them, I'll connect with you. And Blaze the Bingo Hole, really good host. Definitely doesn't have my long intros. May not have my charisma, but his father was a wrestler. He knows his stuff, and give him a shout out. This guy you probably know does want to say hello. You know him. Definitely an interesting fellow. You want to say hello to him?
Yeah, I do. Joshua Kavad and I are very close. That's actually my little cousin. So
oh wow,
it's amazing to see him here. Thank you, sir.
Quite a little cousin you got there. Quite a little cousin.
Yeah.
Well, he's certainly
that's all stage. Yeah.
Two different polar opposites you guys are, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. 110%.
What do you think about maybe Mr. Kavad one day on Sportswire?
He has an interesting story. He has one of the most interesting stories.
Yeah.
I would definitely love to see that one day.
Yeah.
I
I
would
mean,
love
why
yeah,
not?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I
Wyatt
can
Black
set
could
that
come
up.
on here multiple times. Why not Joshua
Oh,
Kaban?
absolutely. Why not? My God, have somebody with some talent come on.
Well, I can't go that far in my position. You might be able to, as a wrestler, sir, say those things, but I'm just going to say, let's go to the next comment. Wyatt Black, how's that title? We're going to get to him. I know we're going to get to him. McMoney is a foul swearing sailor. And just in case you want to swear, if you want to, I can do it. You want to swear? Go ahead.
Do you know how many thousands of miles me and him have been up and down the road together?
A lot of
He's
car
heard
rides.
it all out of me. He's heard it all out of me.
A lot of car rides, a lot of, hopefully, you had gas in the tank. Yeah, how you doing? We'll see, Courtney. I got something that McMoney will never have but is it in the record books? Is it in the record books? That's a question I'm going to let Lester ask.
You know what? That's only because the hybrid championship has only appeared recently within the last few years. Had it appeared 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I'd have been the youngest champion, but that's another story.
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
he's getting the Boo Birds, I see, as we expected. Yes, hello to Blaze the Bingo Hall. Yes, Mr. Young Lurch, by the way, he's on Instagram. Definitely check him out. He's a very good host. He's a different host than me. He's more meticulous. He's not over the top. His dad was a wrestler, so I think he definitely adds a different perspective. Different host, but he's got some good content. Definitely check him out, and I think that you might like what he has to offer here.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely check him out. But let's get to some more comments. Yep. And the poor New York Knicks are about to lose. That's kind of a heartbreaker.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're definitely cursed. But I'll leave that at that. Wyatt Black.
Never. Since the days of Patrick Ewing, they still
I
can't.
watched it when I was a kid growing up in Brooklyn. I had a front row seat for all those games in the late 90s.
Charles Oakley and Patrick Ewing. Am I correct?
Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Derek Harper.
Yeah, John Starks. Yeah. Oh man,
finals, yeah.
Just can't ever close the deal.
Yeah, and this one here, they were down 10 and came back, and now they're down 4 with 4 seconds left. So,
bleak, looking bleak.
Yeah, though it is bleak. They're going to lose. You could see it. They're not going to come back. But we'll leave that at that. And he's there. You go. See, somebody obviously reads my cues. So there you go. West Virginia guy can probably make it up. Maybe even this Monday. I mean, it's a Monday night show. I mean, why not? I mean, listen.
Memorial Day.
Nothing wrong with that. Listen, you're better off going to a show here because you're going to spend $20, $30 on Mission Impossible. You're going to spend on popcorn.
Tom Bryce, can I stop you?
Yes, sir.
Don't give this name any more attention than what it already gets.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go and move to some more comments.
Thank you.
Congratulations, 1,500, not 15,000. One of my guests, Ramrock, said the same thing. Boy, 15,000. I'm like 1,500.
Hey, Tom Bryce, one day in the near future.
I'll get there, but today I'm at 1,500. And okay, so let's
go. Right. We'll celebrate that.
And I'm not going to read you don't want the Wyatt Black comments, so I'll move away from those. As a historian, the person who literally
that's a good one.
Wyatt Black did not win the title. Okay, he's saying it's in the record books. I don't know what record books though, and I wrote the book, kid, and I hate it here. Well, history means nothing. Taz was human. He was human, and you basically gave away that strategy to Mr. Lyle, your Mr. Vengeance and Mr. Hype Man could do. So that's obviously not what I would have did, but
Well, Tommy's no dummy, so we'll see.
Well, Zella, for whatever reason, is a fan of Wyatt Black, but check out Courtney's article. I'd appreciate that very much. My buddy who was in the chair Sunday, Mr. Colton Lee, the Heartless Sheriff, definitely was speaking a little bit about LAW a couple times on the show, and he likes to say good evening, and he's here awake. We were actually talking about sports and wrestling on his last appearance, and he had a lot to say. And by the way, in your chair, in his company, actually, I got to get to Colton Lee for a second because in his company, which is DBW, I have a man that he's going to be wrestling in a penitentiary match here coming up in a matter of weeks, Mr. Sammy Nothing. Yes, they're wrestling in a penitentiary match. No, they're not quite wrestling in prison, but it'll look like it. And the man that Colton Lee would like to take that championship from, Sammy Nothing, is here in your chair next Friday night. So that'll definitely be an interesting show, and I hope people will tune in. first time here that Sammy Nothing is here, and he'll have plenty of things to say, and it won't be nothing. Yep, give Blaze a follow. We'd appreciate that very much. Chase Maddox is definitely somebody you would like to check out, and one of the premier hardcore deathmatch wrestlers. But Michael McMoney is
Tom Bryce.
Yes, don't even mention it. Yeah,
Tom Bryce.
Yes, sir.
He's pissed, you know.
I know. I'm aware.
Chase Maddox. Yeah. Well known fact.
Move on. And Blaze lives 4 hours from Parkersburg. He's on the.
Okay.
That's why he was at the Enterprise Amplified. Because they're closer to the PA, I guess, border. I guess I don't know. So that's where he lives.
Yeah.
I think we need a match at LAW. You know, this is an interesting one. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Ace Austin, who's now been let out of his contract. I saw one of my guests coming on.
I am a fan of his.
Yes, and a lot of people are. And that's a good segue. Dave Jamieson obviously is a huge part of things. He's wrestling this guy that some people would once knew as Fuego del Sol. His name's KJ Orso now, and he's wrestling there coming up on June 13th at Money Mark Media. And what is your opinion on Dave Jamieson now that he's ended the career of Timothy Titans and he's now looking to go and wrestle an even bigger match and maybe the biggest match of anybody's career against the artist formerly known as Fuego del Sol?
Well, here's the thing. He is going to get a dream match here. He's told me multiple times that he said, "Pops, this is my dream match." And I got to give credit where credit's due. Timmy Titan, he put this together for the Money Mark Media event. And I'm going to give full credit. You know, good on him for this is his love letter to Dave Jamieson, essentially making up for what he did to him.
Yeah, exactly the words. Yeah.
Hey, kid, sorry I almost ended your career. You ended mine. Here we go. You know, let's bury the hatchet. And I couldn't be happier for Dave Jamieson. I know the kid's going to have a stellar performance. He's in his hometown against a guy that he's wanted to wrestle for quite some time now.
25
and one of the hot
Keysport, Pennsylvania. Yep.
Yes. And one of the hottest independent acts in the country at that.
Absolutely.
So I mean, you know, I'm pulling for the kid. I'll be there, and I'll be pulling for him.
Absolutely, and that'll be a match a lot of people have circled. Godric is on the card, and he's wrestling Soul Taker on it. I mean, so that's certainly no souls matter.
Yes. That's going to be an interesting contest. I think that Soul Taker. You see, here's the thing. Godric Samwell just lost to El Shaddai. So is he going to come back with a vengeance and get a win over Soul Taker, or is he going to continue in his losing ways?
And they have history together because for those that watch Express Wrestling, they tagged together not long ago. So I think what's interesting about that match is we're here with Michael McMoney, of course, LAW council member, as some would say, the greatest wrestler all time in West Virginia wrestling history. And certainly Blaze the Bingo Hole is from West Virginia, so maybe he knows about it. But we'll leave that at that. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and hitting 1,500 subscribers with us. We thank everybody here for helping us get that milestone. But, you know, it's interesting because Godric and Soul Taker, they tag together. Certainly, they've seen each other in different promotions. And it's a big match for both men. And I'm going to get to Godric in a few minutes. But I really wonder what you can expect from those two men over there. What's your opinions on a match like that?
If it's a brawl, it goes to Soul Taker.
Absolutely.
If it comes down to a wrestling match, it's Godric Samwell. And this one really is the flip of the coin. I mean, think about it. This is one of the greatest wrestlers on the indie scene today against one of the greatest wrestlers in Pittsburgh and West Virginia today.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling for. I sure hope that Godric Samwell gets the job done for his sanity and for his confidence. But if he doesn't, there's no shame in losing to the Soul Taker.
Now, could you say because Godric in 2125 Beacon Street, McKeesport, Pennsylvania, he seems to do better there than he does at 325 7th Street in Parkersburg, West Virginia? I'm going to be honest.
He absolutely does. I
know, because I've covered him. I've covered him first at 2125 Beacon Street, so I know what I'm going to be looking for here coming up there on June 13th. Godric's going to have home ring advantage, you might want to say, and that might be able to propel him, and maybe that's going to get him back on track. I don't know.
I sure hope so. I sure hope
I
so.
want to come back to him. But I do have some more comments, a couple more I want to get to. I have called Dibs several times to be the one who writes Kavad's story. It will happen. She told me that actually off the air.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Camera women, I see his efforts. Meaning camera women, I see his
Camera
efforts.
women, I see his efforts. I don't know.
I don't know what.
I know who that is, but I don't. I don't know.
I'm lost on the comment. If you don't mind, camera women, I see
Yeah.
his efforts. Okay, well, all right. We'll take that off the screen, and let's talk about it now, because I see the comments in here, and I see that people have been wanting your opinion on this pretty much the entire evening, and that's the West Virginia Wrestling Federation. Obviously, the Ryan James Memorial Show. It's been a topic here on Sportswire Radio. Certainly, Timothy Titan chimed in on it. Maverick was here the week prior. We spoke a lot about it, and now I want to give you, sir, the opportunity to talk, because I had Maxwell Reeves and Tsunami on 2 days ago, and they claimed, well, at least Maxwell Reeves did, that he had the Montreal screw job happen to him in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, as to why he didn't regain his BCW championship. But you, Michael McMoney, may have had your own version of the West Virginia version of the Montreal screw job, and I want to give you the opportunity to talk about what happened there last weekend at WVWF's Ryan James Memorial Show and that hybrid tournament, when it seemed like everything was going in your favor, and then all of a sudden, what happened, and talk about just why you didn't defeat Wyatt Black in rather controversial fashion.
Well, Tom Rice, here's the thing. Everybody's expecting me to come on here and go off and throw a fit, right?
Yeah, I was forewarned about this. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Not what they're going to get.
They're not?
This is what they're no. No. This is what they're going to get, okay?
All right.
Good job, Wyatt Black.
Good job. Wait. After everything he said about you, everything he said about your son, good job, Wyatt Black. Wait a minute. Is this the episode we're supposed to get here on Sportswire?
Here's the thing. All match long, I was one step ahead of this kid. All match long. At the end, I didn't expect that to happen. He pulled the chain. He hit me with the chain. Kudos. You got the win.
Right.
However, you didn't walk away at the end of the night with a championship. Therefore, congratulations on your meaningless win, Wyatt Black. James Enoch, I'm coming for you. And here, you see, I don't care about Wyatt Black. He got a win over me, fine. He didn't walk away with the championship. Well, he's whatever. Good job, kid. I put you over. You got to go over on one of the greatest to ever do it. Hope that propelled your career. That's what I want to. That was the peace of mind I walked away with. He didn't win the belt, so Enoch did. So Enoch, I'm coming for you again. And here's the thing: like, I'm going to lay claim to being the greatest to ever do it. Now, the next show for WVWF, I'm already booked somewhere else.
It's next Saturday, correct?
It was supposed to have been this Saturday, the 24th. It got changed to the 21st or the 31st. Excuse me. 31st. I had prior commitments. I'm not going to be there.
Understand.
I'm not going to be there. I'm going to let Enoch think about it. I'm going to let him get a win or two, let him build a little bit of confidence.
Right.
And I'm going to knock him down. And I'm going to take the belt. And I'm going to proclaim myself as the first ever Grand Slam champion of WVWF, which will be factual, obviously. And I'm going to cement my legacy as the greatest of all time. I mean, I'm already there, but there's still arguments. If I do this, there is no argument. So I'm going to let everybody at WVWF rest easy. No, old Michael McMoney ain't going to be around at the next show. He's going to go off and do bigger and better things. And then he's going to come back to Parkersburg. And he's going to go in against James Enoch. and he's going the Chemical Valley Gunslinger, they call him.
Yep.
Well, well, pal, I'm the fastest straw in the West if you want to be a gunslinger.
Ooh.
So you and I are going to meet down the line, and you're not going to like it.
But this is
I
interesting
and
here, what you just said. Very interesting
yeah,
because it sounds to me like Wyatt Black won the battle, but he lost the war. So for you, it doesn't matter that you didn't
not
win
at all.
because he didn't win the championship. So for you, really, all right.
And the way he won the championship is, or I'm sorry, excuse me, the way he beat me to advance to the finals of the championship was very suspect.
Well,
And
that's
the
why I mentioned that.
WWF,
Was this now? You've been around a long time in this sport. You have seen a lot. I say it all the time on Sportswire. You are a protege of Necro Butcher, so you have learned from some of the very best in our sport. Was this the West Virginia screw job?
no.
No, why? No.
Let's give credit where credit is due. I would have done the same exact thing.
You
Give
would have?
credit to the kid. Give credit to the kid. Tom Bryce. Don't be a fool. Go
No,
back
no.
and watch
Listen,
the video.
listen. To be honest, he comes on here and draws views. If you're asking me, honestly, I don't have a problem with him or even him coming on here because people tune into him. I don't know if he's in the same category as other names that have controversy or controversial before their first names in Anthony Steele and Cato. But in terms of just what he brings to the platform, sure, he's definitely somebody that I don't have the same animosity. But I'm not in the locker room. See, I'm not in a locker room with him like other people. So I don't know. But it's fascinating to me that you say that it's all forgotten. Everything he said about you, your son, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter anymore.
Well, one of these days, those two will square up and settle. I'm not worried about that. My kid has bigger fish to fry right now. But
Do you think
in
Wyatt
terms,
Black should be there Monday at Aftermath? I asked Titan that question. Do you think he should be there at 325 7th Street in Parkersburg, West Virginia? What do you think
hey,
his future is in LAW? He
hey,
was here and boasted about his victory over Soda Pop Jones, and he's talked about his win after win. And I mean, does he belong to be on the card on Monday? It's a school night,
my
right?
bit,
Monday a school night?
my business cap will be on that night.
But it's a school night
My
Monday. Technically, he couldn't be on the card.
Yeah, yeah, but in all seriousness, my business cap will be on. If he comes to the building and he shows up, he comes to the building and he shows up. He knows as well as I do that, if he comes and he has his gear with him, he's a proven commodity. He's won a couple matches. He'll find his way into a spot if needed, as in somebody can't show up, somebody gets a flat tire along the route. Those things are known to happen, and he knows that.
Right. Fair.
So,
Fair.
so you know what? He beat me, but he didn't beat Enoch. That's okay. If he shows up to the building, I'm sure we'll find something for him if it comes available. I am literally burying the hatchet with this kid. Like this kid.
I'm shocked tonight. Are you sure that this is something that we're really? Maybe this isn't a reality. Maybe this is a dream because you especially with the back and forth, and everybody has talked about this feud. I was even told don't bring Wyatt Black on the platform today. Not that it was really.
I know. Everybody thinks they know me, but they really
Right.
don't.
Well,
Everybody
I'm
has
shocked.
everybody has these assumptions of who and what I am, and they're all wrong. They're all wrong.
Would you
Combo.
have been bothered? What if he had won? Let's say, what if he held the title right now, figuratively? Let's say.
Then he'd be in a world of trouble.
Okay, all right, that makes more sense. All right,
Yeah.
all right. That was kind of my next point. If he had the championship, would you feel differently about him?
Tom Bryce, I'm not.
Yes, sir.
I'm in no kind of moods for personal grudges right now.
Fair.
It's strictly
But there is
business.
no more now because it doesn't matter. Look, the past is the past. You can only go forward.
Right.
But
Right. It's strictly business with me at this point in my career. If I want a personal rivalry, I'll go back 10 years and rehash something with Johnny Demonic or Wildcat or somebody like that. That's not me now. It's strictly
Okay.
business.
So really, but he's also, I think, just to move away from him, and I want to go back to Godric Sandwell because I want to promote a couple of other things we have here for LAW before we let everybody sign off and enjoy what's left of the evening and certainly Memorial Day week, which will be here all weekend here celebrating the 1,500 subscriber milestone. But I think Wyatt Black now, he's also got part of that controversy because he didn't win the hybrid championship, right? He can say in the record books, but I don't know that to be factually accurate. But
If he
now,
did, if he didn't, at the end of the day, he doesn't have the belt.
but I think there's
If
a greater
it
point.
doesn't matter.
I think there's a greater point to be made here tonight on Sportswire Radio in prime time is that in this kid's young career, for the first time, he now has to deal with adversity. He has to deal now with his own controversy. How does this kid deal with the fact that he thought that he was going to find his way and bear back to victory after victory and sneak ways and all whatever he was figuring out over these past several months to continue what he's done in WVWF and here in LAW, but now he didn't walk away with the ultimate prize. He didn't walk away with the hybrid championship. So now this kid in his young career, how does he deal with that adversity going forward? I think that's actually, sir, I think that's a bigger question that he has to deal with than your own issues here because you're a veteran. You've been in the game. You've lost before. You've come back. But Wyatt Black, this is the first time really in his career he's now had to deal with adversity. And where does that kid go from here in his career?
Well, if he's smart, which I know he is from experience, he goes back and he studies a little tape about WrestleMania 9. And Yokozuna beats Bret Hart and he has the belt for 2.5 minutes. And then he loses it to Hogan.
Yep.
But he gets his get back 3 months later in Hogan's first title defense.
King of the Ring 93 in Dayton, Ohio.
Yes. Wyatt Black needs to learn from that. But Wyatt Black's also no Yokozuna.
I was going to say Yokozuna was a different. I think Wyatt Black and Yokozuna, this might be the only time with as much respect I'm trying to give here. There's Yokozuna and there's Wyatt.
And then there's Wyatt Black.
Yeah. I'm not talking about wrestling ability. I'm talking about their sheer size. I mean, so, figuratively and literally, I think Yokozuna is on some people's Samoan Mount Rushmores. Wyatt Black, I mean, I think we'll certainly have to find out, but I do think you give some interesting advice, but I really think it'll be fascinating to see where does that kid go forward in terms of just how does he deal with the fact that he didn't win that hybrid championship, despite whatever he can say.
The worst thing he can do is dote over it. That's the worst.
Well, we saw it tonight. Listen, if you're a basketball fan, the Knicks blow their lead and they come out here and they lose another heartbreaker. And could Wyatt Black be in that same category? Could he be in that same discussion? Time will only tell. But
Bryce, what are we doing here? Mentioning Wyatt Black in the same name as like Yokozuna and the New York Knicks.
Well, because the New York Knicks and Yokozuna were relevant in like 1993, and that's kind of what's the theme in people's minds here in New York. But it's an interesting point. We'll go maybe and talk about that a different time. Before I get to Godric Sandwell, because I want to talk about a couple of other matches here in LAW that we haven't got a chance to talk about that I think people should really find out more about. You have to go hit the sub button for our friends in LAW. A lot of FUTV stuff is up there in the past. Check it out. You want to see stuff about LAW? Go to Facebook, Instagram. Yes, it's a thing. It's a living piece of information. They don't update it, but hit the follow button. Maybe somebody will take it over. Please support our friends in LAW. We have a lot more coverage. By the way, Godric Sandwell is here 9 o'clock Tuesday night. He's giving you literally aftermath of the aftermath. So, I mean,
please tune in. Please
tune in. Godric, a lot of guys actually messaged that they were very eager to see what Godric has to say here. And I do want to say also hello to the Indie Vision Network, of course, representing Pepper. Also, Indie Vision Network just had a new episode out.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Check out Indie Vision Network. I do want to put that up as a plug as well because they've had Godric Sandwell on their podcast. They've also had some other content that you might want to see from the past and present. Yes.
I believe there's a Dave Jameson episode coming up that I'm very
It's
interested in
on
seeing in its
Facebook that they
entirety.
taped it, but to be announced when. Brohemoth was on there. You might want to check that out. I would definitely recommend it. Jace Carr was also on there. When I'm off the air, I'm going to definitely watch the Brohemoth one because that's one a lot of people would like to see. But also check them out on YouTube. Give them a sub, and you might see some our favorites on Sportswire there also. And yes, Pepper Pride was a great representative of the champion. I believe somebody put that out there in the chat. But speaking of Godric Sandwell, he's here on my screen, and I know he is going to be a part of a scramble match here coming up Monday. And I was curious what your perspective on that was, and tell us a little bit about it. And now let's certainly talk about more of Godric Sandwell in LAW.
Well, Godric Samuel will be in the 6-man scramble match this coming Monday, and he is definitely my my heart wants him to win.
I know.
It really does. He needs to get something to start building that confidence again. And I sure hope he wins. It's going to be 3 Battle on the Border participants against 3 LAW participants. Godric has to be the one that comes out on top there, in my opinion, in my estimation.
How important then is it for Godric to get back on track? Because we famously asked you this question, and we know it's not yet. It's not yet for him to get a title shot and win the LAW championship. So he's gotta have an impressive showing.
I mean, he has to start somewhere. Why not in the 6-man scramble? Bring it home. Bring the win home for LAW and show that you're not dead yet. You know what I mean? That's what he has to do.
You have had an amazing career, right? You've been in this game a long time. You're a student of the game. You're a historian. If you were in Godric's shoes, how do you approach this?
Win at all costs.
But that's not who Godric is, though. That's not who Godric is.
I mean, he needs to take a page out of my book. You know what I mean? He needs to not be afraid to reach out and gouge an eye or bite a forehead like classy Freddie Blassie, or wear a tire to the ring that he can get an edge up and choke the guy when the referee's not looking. Pull out a pair of brass knucks, pull out some powder, throw a fireball.
Well, he's the devil in the blue coat. So maybe something in the blue coat you could store in the coat, in the back pocket,
Start going for it. Quit being worried what the general public thinks of you, because the general public isn't in there with you.
It's a topic we've had here a lot on Sportswire. I mean, it's in terms of just, it's not always about.
Why do you think I'm giving Wyatt Black such props?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
He learned. He learned, and he's seen. That kid gets it. Win at all costs. Wish you would have did that against Enoch, but that's another story. But Godric Samuel has to quit worrying about what the general public thinks of him. And I've told him this for a long time. He's so humble and so, no, man, you're the greatest. Act like it. Carry yourself and swagger like it. And shove it down their throats. Because those cheers aren't going to get you wins all the time, bud.
Does Godric have that in him? Do you think that he has that in him? It's very hard to get the killer in.
There's the $1 million question.
But I
don't know, because he's such a gentleman of exquisite caliber.
There's an expression there's an expression in life that it's either you have it or you don't. My dad used to always say, he would say it in a stern way, either you have it or you don't. And I think with Godric, does he have that killer instinct? I think that's a question that he's going to have to ask himself. If he doesn't have it, then I don't know. I don't know what the future would be for him in LAW because this is basically his aftermath right now. This is his aftermath. He's
Yes.
got a huge match here. There's a lot on the line to represent LAW and 6 people in there that 5 of them he's mixing it up with, and it's every man for themselves.
3 of them he may never have even met before, let
Very
alone
good
seen them in
possibility. I
action.
mean, yeah, for sure.
Right. Well, all I know is that one's going to be crazy. Any outcome can legitimately happen. I mean, there's 6 people in a scramble match. Anything can happen.
Have you been in
but,
one of those in your career?
oh my God, I wrestled him in a few in IWA Mid South, and do you know what I
wow,
did?
guys. What?
Yeah. Do you know what I did? I was the smart one. These
I know
guys
what
were all doing these moves. I waited and I
I knew
snuck
you
in.
were going there. You used the ring psychology. Yep. You waited.
I snuck in. I would wait for them to hit a big move where everybody's down. I'd sneak in, try to steal pins. I'd throw low blows and rake in the eyes, throwing powder in the face,
Because
all
you
kinds of
wanted to
different
save
stuff.
your energy for the match because you didn't, especially if you don't know who your opponents are,
Right.
you give yourself that opportunity to scout them out. And maybe that's something that Godric might have to do here in a match. Like, Judo Jones is here and he wants to make the case that Godric's going to have to get through him. And he's one hard punch away from doing that. And Judo's got a lot to prove here too. Don't forget, Judo is a guy that could also use a big victory here. I mean, all of
Yeah.
them use an opportunity to win here, and especially Judo Jones is another name. I mean, but I mean, Godric's definitely got a lot to prove. I'll be very curious if Godric is here Tuesday night and doesn't get the job done. Where does he go?
My advice to him is this in this match:
What?
don't be a hero, be an opportunist.
But we don't know if he has that in him. I don't know if he has the killer instinct in him. I don't know.
If a guy gives you a suplex or something, as we all know, it hurts. It doesn't feel good. But maybe act like it hurts a little more than it should. Just kind of roll off to the side and watch what happens.
I see. And then
wait for your opportunity. Wait for your opportunity. Play hurt. Let them do their thing and sneak in and roll one of them up. 1, 2, 3.
I think
it's that simple.
No, I think it's a good point. I think it'll be very interesting getting Godric here Tuesday night, what frame of mind he's going to be in because of just how much he went through to try to win that LAW championship, but didn't do it. Now you've got to start here in a prove me match with people you have no idea with, and even LAW roster members that they're out for themselves too. I mean, everybody's got something to prove here, and I think that's really, to me, this might be the most intriguing match. And we've talked about some good ones here. We've got Chase Maddox and Jeff King. I mean, we talked about the world title match. I mean, we've got a lot of great matches ahead here, and I think Godric will talk more about that 9:00 Eastern time. I did want to also talk to you about another match that I think is really interesting, and I spoke a lot about it with Courtney and Titan. Is a number 1 contendership for those tag team titles held by the Pattersons. And I'm also curious your perspective. I see you're lighting up already because Miami Mental Institute against the Steel Brothers. We spoke a lot about this on Monday's show. I mean, what do you expect here coming up?
Okay, so I'm going to shoot it straight with you here to the best of my knowledge. MMI is a fantastic team.
Yep.
I had the poor misfortune of getting slammed through like a wooden door and a bunch of chairs by them at the last show. Yeah. But the Steel Brothers the Steel Brothers are fantastic. I consider them dear friends of mine.
I've seen them in other places.
Excuse me. Nate is just coming back off the injury where MMI broke his arm.
Yes.
However, the story that's not public, and I'm not even sure the details because they haven't told me. I'm hearing rumors that Ryan Steele is hurt. And I'm hearing that he's going to need some sort of back surgery and he can barely walk, but he's going to be there. He's vowed to be there. Now, I don't know what this means for the match. I don't know if it's even true, but that's just the rumor that I've heard. So it's interesting to see what kind of shape Ryan shows up in. And I know MMI is going to be mad because Nate returned during the match where Gigi Jacobs and I were against Miami Mental Institute. And I was shocked to see him because last I knew his arm was broke. Those guys kind of went dark.
Well, could you
after
say
MMI
that
broke his arm?
Want to be here Monday? Doors open 6 o'clock, 325 7th Street, the Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia, because of what's on the line here. You get an opportunity for a tag team championship shot, and that means something. Maybe that's why they're going to try to heroically go out there and compete.
I mean, they want to lay claim to being the best tag team in West Virginia and in Parkersburg because that's their city. That's their city.
That's their home.
So let's see what happens. Let's see if they go out there and get their revenge on MMI. And if they don't, where does it go from here? Because again, I don't know if the rumors are true. Ryan is again rumored to have a back injury. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But we're gonna find out.
And the Pattersons are going to have their work cut out for them regardless. There's no question to me that they're going to have their work cut out for them. And you want to be that team that dethrones them because, as I said, the magnitude of them being brother-sister tag team champions. That's nobody out there in wrestling can lay claim to that. And somebody would love to knock them off their throne. And we think this match is going to happen, and we'll certainly find out. And both teams would love to be the number one contenders, and I think that it's another reason why
on that
show up there. Yes.
On that note, it's 11-11. Tom Brace, make a wish.
My wish is that we've got a match comment here. Is that you should book Day Jameson versus Lee Moriarty. Now, Day talked about that here. Now, I see Money Mark Media is presenting a show at 2125 Beacon Street, McKeesport, Pennsylvania. Day Jameson is getting the artist formerly known as Fuego del Sol, KJ Orso. We're getting Soul Taker and Godric. A lot of other great matches are going to be there also. But, I mean, that might be the wish that I think a lot of people would like to see. And I mean, Dave Jameson certainly shot his shot on Instagram. He used my reel to try to get Lee Moriarty to maybe think about that. And, that's quite a wish. It's quite a wish.
Well, that would be incredible. And you got to believe if Dave Jameson can find a way to beat KJ Orso, Lee Moriarty has to accept the challenge.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? I'm going to up the ante because I actually think, again, if you want to see people in LAW, I hear through the grapevine that the new Pitbulls want to go out there and wrestle in places. I know my friend Gary Wolf wants to go wrestle. I know that Pitbull number 3, who's now the new Pitbull, Mr. Christopher Anino, he wants to go out there and compete. And I have it under strong authority that the Pitbulls want to wrestle. Could you imagine the Pitbulls in LAW? Maybe that would be a wish of a lot of people. Maybe that's something that, as a council member, you might want to find a way to reach out to the Pitbulls.
I would love that, but I don't think the tag team division would.
That is true. That is certainly true, but I guess time will tell. Time will certainly tell. But
I mean, yeah. Let's see what happens. In LAW, we are trying to bring in better talent, trying to bring in newer talent. So you never know. I am very interested in speaking with Mr. Wolf. I'd love to see if he would want to do something. But it all comes down to,
and those other things that certainly we'll leave them out. There's a lot of other things to get booked. Yeah.
As Kevin Nash famously said, like to steal your line, the only thing that's real in wrestling is money and miles.
And that's listen, there's no question. There's things to make the connection work. But they obviously never say never is another quote. Yes, and I think a lot of people are fans of Godric. And I know that Silas, by the way, is going to be there on June 13th because he lives not too far from 2125 Beacon Street in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. And somebody out there will let him go to the show, which we're very happy about that. But and let him go and watch it and give me the report and honest feedback about the show. But yeah, Godric needs a victory here. Godric needs some wins. Obviously, we've seen what he's done recently in Express Wrestling, but it's different here for him at 325 7th Street in the Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia. We'll have to find out. Certainly, we've talked a lot tonight about a lot of different things here, and I'm very excited. But I'd rather comment here before I do that. What do you think about Dave Jamieson in the future in LAW, Express Wrestling, or whoever? And he should get another belt. Well, I mean, we'll have to find out. We'll have to find out. Time will tell.
He's well on his way in both companies to achieving that goal. I tell you that much.
I'll tell you what. There's a lot of opportunity. How about Express Wrestling? What's happening between him and Jace Carr now again? Boy, Dave Jamieson back on Express Wrestling. That's something I think a lot of people. I'm going to ask Godric about that on Tuesday. I think that's a very fascinating topic. Maybe him and Daniel Tafua, maybe they reunite as a tag team. You never know. Listen, there's a lot of opportunity. And we know famously Dave Jamieson was supposed to team with Timothy Titan. So listen. Maybe there's a lot of opportunities out there, but you have to follow certainly LAW and Express and anywhere else Dave Jamieson goes. And I even hear through the grapevine that Dave Jamieson is coming to a company that comes on here all the time on Sportswire Radio, wink and a nod. Yes, Dave's home is 2125 Beacon Street, McKeesport, Pennsylvania, but also 325 7th Street in Parkersburg, West Virginia, the Richardson Building.
Yes.
Great plug there. Great plug. But, I know I could talk for hours with you, but I want to ask you, is there anything else that you want to plug or promote about this coming Monday, Memorial Day afterwards? I know veterans, 50% discount, doors open 6 o'clock, only $10. What a deal here. What a way to close Memorial Day weekend. Just such a great day that we think about our veterans and we honor our nation's history and we honor just what we're going to be able to celebrate wrestling and celebrate the opportunities to have the freedoms that we have to put on a great show that LAW is doing. But is there anything else that you want to plug or talk about here tonight when it comes to Monday's Aftermath?
I think that we did a pretty good job of covering it. I just want to say that if you were in Parkersburg, West Virginia, or the surrounding areas, just looking for anything to do on Memorial Day, stop out. It's going to be something special. Battle on the Border is going to be there with us. You don't want to miss the LAW three-way dance for the LAW championship.
Yep.
You don't want to miss the 6-man scramble. Chase Maddox against Jeff King for the Battle on the Border Hardcore Championship.
We have the world title. Can't forget
MMI.
triple threat. We have a triple threat. We have a triple threat for the world title. We spoke a lot about
three-way dance. Yes.
Yep. Triple threat. Yes. We have also the scramble match. That's going to be very fascinating. We have we think so far number one contenders match for the tag titles is going to take place. There's just so many things that you can look forward to. That's the Chase Maddox, and that's the match. I might be just. I wonder who's following that matchup. I think Godric's match. I think Godric's situation is so interesting. Judo Jones is a part of that. He was here tonight in the chat. Yes. I think we spoke at length about Hype Man Dan Lasers and Matt Vengeance. Their chances of maybe taking away that LAW championship from El Shaddai. We've spoke a lot about maybe Indie Vision champion Pepper Pride and her future. We spoke a lot about Dave Jamieson here tonight. We spoke about Daniel Tafua. We spoke about just so many different topics. That's why you have to follow LAW on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I'm glad. Yes, definitely see you there Monday as well. And I can't wait. Godric Samuel is here Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. And also Michael McMoney, definitely, eventually, you're going to see him soon in the WVWF. And he's going to have a lot to say about that hybrid championship. That still is on his mind. And boy, I can't wait to talk about that in the future. And speaking of people that are here, by the way, he's decided to show up. Dave Jamieson. Well, man, we spoke a lot about here tonight. Obviously, ending Timothy Titan's career, now going on to certainly have an opportunity of a lifetime with the artist formerly known as Fuego del Sol. You're going to see him in a number of different places coming up. Find Dave Jamieson. Well, he's here. And definitely going to be finding him in a lot of different places coming up. Money Mark Media, certainly in LAW, and wow, he was at. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you were at JCW, but I'm glad you're here right now on Sportswire Radio. And by the way, we just surpassed 1,500 subscribers tonight. So anybody who wants to come on, say hello, say a few words, come on the next 2 days, all weekend. We're going to be available for that. And by the way, Godric Sandwell, boy, they certainly come in threes. I think Daniel Tafua will be next. If a devil in a blue coat isn't the answer, maybe the opposite way. You spoke about that. I mean, does he have the killer instinct? The New York Knicks didn't have it tonight. Hopefully, Godric Sandwell does on Monday. Yeah, thank you.
Let's see what happens.
Thank you. Yes, it was a great honor. And yeah, anybody who wants to come on, we'll keep it open. And we thank everybody for the super chat. And again, you can keep vaping on here. It's okay. If Tarzan came on here and smoked weed, if I had the Brooklyn Prodigies come on here and do that, Jimmy Controversy didn't even know where he was when he was here. We've had way worse than vaping. So I'm going to give you a pass on that. And Monday night will be interesting on Sports Radio. Speaking of guys, I would love to see at LAW, the legendary Rad Dad Radley Belmont from GTS is going to be here Monday night. Yep, Rad Dad Radley, the stepdads, a guy who's been in certainly a number of different places. EBW Pro, he's been across the up and down the Northeast wrestling circuit. I wonder, that would be a name, him and the stepdads. And the stepdads are legendary.
I've heard of them. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Very, very good friends of mine, the stepdads. They've been Rad Dad's been a staple on this platform for a while, and he's back here Monday night. He's going to talk about, he ended Jimmy Controversy's career in GTS. He's going to talk about that. He's going to talk about a number of different topics he's been up to. So yeah, I'll definitely I'll mention you guys on Monday's show. I don't know how Rad Dad lives in Keyport, New Jersey. I don't know how far Keyport is from Parkersburg, but maybe you can work on. I don't know, but he's definitely a name that we'll keep an eye on, and I'll talk to you about it more later. But yes, thank you for that. We'll celebrate that all weekend, tomorrow and Sunday night. But let me pass the baton to you. Let me give you some closing thoughts, sir. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? And can't wait till the next one we do next month.
Wyatt Black, you dodged a bullet. James
I'll say, you really did. I was expecting like you to just like throw the kitchen sink there at him. I was expecting everything, and no, congratulations, but you lost the war kid. All right, I'll give you that.
Yep. Wyatt Black, you dodged the bullet. James Enoch, you did not. I will be back, and when I do, you'll know it. Or when I am, you'll know it, rather.
Oh, you're going to definitely know about it. And Courtney's going to come back. You probably see Courtney if she's not at a show here this week. And I want to give her a few minutes on these 1,500 sub shows to talk about the Daphne article. By the way, please read the Daphne article. I read it a night and a half ago. I mean, Daphne, I remember Daphne very well in WCW and TNA. Like I said, really somebody that was ahead of her time. And definitely, yes, I see her daughter now is a part of things in the wrestling world. So definitely check out Daphne and the Scream Queen she was, and David Flair's girlfriend once upon a time in WCW, and with Crowbar and Abyss and Dr. Stevie Richards, and Michael McMoney has a Daphne TNA figure. Boy, that's a collectible. I hope you keep that. Don't sell that there. Don't sell that. But great stuff there. Check out her article. Also, one more time before we sign off, let me give a plug to LAW on YouTube. You'll eventually see some more content there. FUTV, yes. Facebook, Legit Alternative Wrestling. Check out all of that. Hit the sub button for them. And my friend, thank you for being here to help me get to 1,500 subscribers. You were the man. I had a feeling you were going to be the guy to get me there. I don't know what it was. I'm like, he's here Friday. He's going to get me 2 or 3 subs. I should have had it really yesterday because I was at like I said, I was at 14.99. Then I dropped 2. I gained 1, and I'm like, he's gonna get me there. I knew it, and you did. So I can't wait to talk more about it and talk more LAW these next few weeks. You guys have become a staple on the platform, and I love it, and it's great. And I look forward to it. And maybe I won't mention Wyatt Black as much, but who knows? But maybe I will. And there you go, Daniel Tafuo, who probably
there he is. Yeah,
they're all in threes. Didn't I say everything comes in threes? You got Sandwell, Jameson, and a Tafuo. Winking or not, I'm sure. Where were
they don't get any better than that, do they?
And you know what?
We had Kavad on earlier. I mean, come on.
Great. I mean, look, I love it. I mean, listen. I mean, it all comes in threes. There you go. Yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, definitely. I can't. Yeah. By the way, he's saying it. Tafu. I have to say, I do like saying the Tafu, and I'm going to be saying it this weekend. By the way, if you're here, anybody in LAW, you want to stop by for a few minutes, I'll be here pretty much all night tomorrow and Sunday for the 1500 sub shows. So there was the whispers. But all right, we've talked enough. He wants to take his suit off. He wants to go take the headset off. He wants to go get ready for what's ahead on Monday. My friend, thank you so much. Thank you for being here on this historic evening. I can't wait to talk the fallout from Aftermath. I'm sure some guys from LAW will be here along with Courtney the next 2 days. I can't wait for Godric on Tuesday. And yeah, Timothy, there you go. By the way, Timothy White will be here. But I'm gonna ask him about Money Mark Media. I'm just asking about Money Mark Media. I'm only asking about Money Mark Media. Yeah. And yeah, there you go. So yeah, everybody come on down the next 2 days. I'll probably be here from like 9 o'clock on. So that's it. So there you go. And yeah, I see a bad idea. Well, you know what? Talk about it, maybe. Well, actually, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it here over the weekend. Don't do it. We'll forget about it, like we'll forget about the New York Knicks these last 2 games. But I'm not a Knicks fan, actually. I believe that I'm in New York and I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm kind of a Nets fan, but I'm a New Yorker.
You know what? You know what? The Dallas Stars are playing in the Western Conference Finals tonight, and I'm a moderate hockey fan. The Pens are, of course, my team, but the Dallas Stars have always been my secondary team as a kid from the Western Conference. You know what I mean? I came this close to wearing my Minnesota North Stars jersey tonight.
Well, all right. I'm going to tell you this before I let you go. When I was a kid, which the tail end of Sega Genesis was a thing, and the first game that I got as a kid in Brooklyn, and it was like, I remember blowing it, when people could be like, wow, Jameson and Tafua and even Godric, they look at me like, what? You would blow on the Sega, and the game I had was NHL hockey, and that game was the Stanley Cup Finals, was the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Minnesota North Stars. I played that game.
Yes.
And it was like, from EA Sports, it was like you'd have like and I played that game. I played was NHL 91, I think it was. And
yeah. Dino Ciccarelli, number 22. That's my guy from the Minnesota North Stars.
It was Brian Propp. It was Mike Madonna.
Who
dated Willa Ford, who married Willa Ford, who was a pop singer. And he definitely, even though he was a great player, he was way above his pay grade. But I could talk about all of it at a different time. Yes, the Penguins won a few Stanley Cups, and I had season tickets when I was an Islanders fan. I watched all those Penguins players. And apparently Tafua knows what I'm talking about. We'll talk about it more on the weekend. Everybody go enjoy the rest of your night. Can't wait to be here over the weekend with you. That's Michael McMoney, LAW council member. Some would say the greatest wrestler in West Virginia wrestling history. He's going to prove that when he takes that hybrid championship away from James Enoch.
In due time.
Yeah, due time. And Timothy Titan graduated in 2004. Well, high school? Well, yeah. Well, that's a while ago. Yeah, that's a while ago. I mean, you're a little bit ahead of me, but I mean, look, we graduated. Some people don't graduate. So congratulations. But maybe we'll talk about that with Timothy Titan. He'll come on here Saturday and Sunday. But thank you, everybody. It's time to rest. My voice does hurt. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one Global Radio, to the Sportswire Radio, where all music and wrestling matters. Thank you so much, everybody, for all of your support. Please support LAW. Follow them, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'll see you here over the weekend. That's Michael McMoney. Can't wait to be back. And until then, see you tomorrow.